Welcome to Section 420, Talkin Yankees. In a few minutes, we'll talk to longtime Yankee fan Ira Rothholtz. But in the meantime, we'll get you caught up around baseball. Well, the fact there really is no baseball. Baseball is officially locked out right now. The first work stoppage in 25 years, the collective bargaining agreement between Major League Baseball, the owners, and the Major League Baseball Players Association, the players. That deal expired, so now they're working on a new one. Got to see, really how long this can take. I don't foresee it taking too long, just for the fact that baseball's been struggling with fans, changing the rules, trying to get new fans, and of course, remember going back to 2020, it was kind of a short season. A lot of people really considered it a baseball season, so baseball a little bit of a flux right now. Now it's not getting major attention like the '94 strike did, just because right now it's it's not really affecting a season, and right now obviously football is playing, and you got hockey, you got basketball, so baseball's a little bit in the back seat. And again, Commissioner Rob Manfield kind of put it out there that he doesn't foresee this going too long, and it really shouldn't. Again, baseball has kind of been struggling with fans and trying to keep fans, get new fans, and again, any sort of interference with spring training and or the actual season is not going to help matters at all. So it doesn't really make sense that this is really going to carry over to 2022, but we'll see how it goes. But you did see a bonanza of moves right before that the deal expired, and of course, a big name kind of affecting the Yankees a little bit was Corey Seager, who they would kind of look at as shortstop. He signed a big mega 10-year deal with the Texas Rangers for $325 million. Takes him off the board, as well as the Mets across town. Finding those Steve Cohen big bucks going there. Of course, they bring us Sterling Marte for center field, but of course, a big kind of surprising deal. 3-year deal for Matt Scherzer for $130 million. So a lot of the Mets fans are giddy, and the press is all behind the Mets. The Mets are making a move, and the Yankees kind of standing pat, which I kind of figured they did, because I just didn't think they were going to go after Seager or any of these big shortstop names. And now you're hearing that Carlos Correa might be hiding an injury, and possibly now teams might be moving away from him. So this doesn't seem likely the Yankees are going to land one of these big name free agents. And if they do bring a new shortstop in, it's going to be something via a trade, kind of a 1-year stopgap type person until the young kids come up, which kind of makes sense. And I think, once again, baseball resumes and they get a new deal in, then the Yankees can officially start to reach out to these teams, and they may reach out to some people like Rizzo, who I think they should bring back in. So we'll see how that goes. So that's really the latest now around baseball. The next guest is Bronx native Ira Rothholtz. He's the administrator of the Facebook group Yankee Positive Nation, which has over 15,000 members and provides Yankee content all year round while also promoting a positive fan experience. So let's bring him on. Hi, Ira. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
So, Ira Rothholtz, I guess you're the administrator of the Facebook group Yankees Positive Nation. So is that just you behind it, or do you have a group of other fans that kind of?
I have at the present moment 2 other moderators in my group.
All right, and I see a group is up to 15,000 members. So
yeah, over 15,000 now, and we started late because there's so many Yankee groups out there, and we started late, and I helped build some of these other groups, and we over 15,000 with just a little over 2 years is pretty good.
So as I said before, there's a lot of these different groups out there, and the reason I'm impressed with yours is just, again, you have like 15,000 members. So what is it about your group, or just that has been successful that
I'm sorry. First of all, the name catches a lot of people, because there's so many people out there that are just disgusted every time they go on any group, whether it's baseball or not. There's negativity, there's name calling. One word to describe my group, the way it's run, is respect. If you can't have respect for yourself or a fellow member, or say something that's nice, then don't be in my group, because we don't stand for any nonsense. And that's why our group is very successful.
And how are people, say people interested? I guess they go to Facebook, they can search Yankees Positive Nation now, but how can they join the group?
Okay, well, first of all, I do an awful lot of recruiting. Okay, so there's different ways to do it, where I send out a link, I send out a little note with it, and I send out our face cover picture. And so recruiting is a big way. And like you said, we have people just do a search, and it comes up. And I don't know. I just maybe been a little bit lucky, but I'm straightforward with people. I think I'm very fair, but there's just some things that I just won't tolerate because we have women in the group, we have younger individuals in the group, and you know what? I want anybody to be able to pick up our page, our group, and see, that we're not allowing the F bomb and calling people idiots or morons. It's sickening to a lot of us, and people are looking for that positive energy, and that's what our group gives them.
And another thing I like about your group that, I see a lot of these, pages kind of go in hibernation, but you're pretty much as active now as during when the season's hot and getting, again, a lot of feedback, a lot of likes, a lot of comments.
And we also have a lot of people in our group who I'm going to call them star power, okay? And that is a Gene Stottlemyre, a Kay Mercer. I mean, we have a lot of people like that they really add an awful lot. And I also, not only do I recruit, but I also post the most current articles. And I also go back into the past because especially the younger generation, they may have heard these names, but they can never really relate to it. So I put out videos, I put out articles, and it's amazing the response that we're getting.
All right, and as I said, for you post stuff, but how do your other members contribute? Do they have to submit stuff there, and then you and
okay,
your others?
what has to do is somebody wants to join the group, they have to be approved. Okay, so what I do is I go through the profile, I go through their pictures, I go through a lot of different things that I can pick up on the profile, and then we go from there. But they would send they just hit on the link, and it says to join the group, and that's all they need to do. And then I'll get a request, and then I'll have to make a determination whether I want this person in the group or not. There are people that they try to skirt the system, and there's people, we don't allow selling on our group. So there's no selling. We get to these people, once they get in the group, they start putting up all kind of things that they're looking to sell. And people will send a complaint into me and say, listen, this is not applicable to this group. Can you take care of it? So we do that also. So we have people, I have a moderator on the East Coast and I have another one on the West Coast. And between the three of us, we're doing okay.
And like how many hours, I would say, per day or per week are you investing just, again, doing all this moderation and content control?
You would ask me that. Probably, once it's in your system and you want to see it grow and you want to see be a quality group, I tend to put in more hours than I really should. But that's just me. When I had a business and I would never let a phone call go to voicemail. I figured they're taking the time to call me 24/7. I would answer the phone. So it's the same way I run the group. I want to be upfront with people, and that's basically it.
All right, that's probably a reflection why it's been so successful, because I guess all the time you put into it, and at least the results are paying off. So let's just go back really quick now. We were chatting a little before, and I guess you said you grew up within walking distance of the stadium. So just give us your story as a Yankee fan, just growing up in the Bronx.
Well, I was born into being a Yankee fan. I mean, when people say how long you've been a Yankee fan, I was basically, and I'm 67, so I was born into it. Yankee Stadium, as you know, was on 161st, and we lived in 170th. So be able to walk, I mean, the bat days and all the giveaways that they used to do, it was just something. I went to the first Mayor's Trophy game. The other thing is that I had my own business and I specialized in sports medicine, supplies, and equipment. And I used to deal with all Major League Baseball, all the professional sports, including colleges, athletic trainers, physical therapists. So I go back with the Yankees, even my adult career. walking in, like one time I walked into the locker room, then that's when it wasn't so picky who can come in and all that stuff. And I walked in between Mattingly and Boggs.
Mm.
I mean, I thought I was going to pass out. But the thing is, a lot of people, they run to get an autograph and they do this. I was never into that. It was enough for me to be able to deal with them and work with them rather than have to bug somebody to give me an autograph. So, those were fun days, really fun days. And then I used to go wherever the Yankees were across the country. If I happened to be in that city, okay, I was able to go to a game. Living out here in Oregon, the closest baseball to us really is Seattle, which is about 3 hours away. So, to go see a Yankee game, and you go to a Seattle game, and there's more Yankee fans than there are Seattle. So that's always funny. So everybody who's a Yankee fan is decked out in their gear and their outfits and all this other stuff. So it's funny. It's different. It's different. But yeah, I had a blast with dealing with these guys, and I've been dealing with the athletic trainers, Major League Baseball for a while. I mean, I go back to Gene Monahan. I'm sure you heard that name. And then there was Steve, what's his name? I forgot his name. Donahue, Steve Donahue. I go back with him also. Minor league trainers and the trainers, if something goes wrong, and I don't want to say I'm negative, but if something goes wrong most of the time, they're looking to point the finger why it's happening. And unfortunately, they find that the trainer is the easiest one to pick on. And the Yankees have a different medical staff now. And you got to give them time, players are going to get hurt, but what are they doing to help themselves? The trainer says, don't lift more than 150 pounds. Well, the player goes in there and he does what he wants if nobody's watching him. Yeah. So anyway, it's a rough deal. It's a rough deal. The trainers don't have it easy.
With your insight on that, I mean, obviously you've seen the Yankees across a number of decades, and now they're saying players get hurt more now than in past. Is that true? Is that a myth?
It seems like it is. These guys is relative. They've been there. I think this might be their second year or whatever. And, you can't just injuries are going to happen. It's part of the game, unfortunately. I personally think that there's more injuries now than there were in the past. If Mantle had a bruised thumb and he couldn't swing the bat properly, he didn't say, I'm sitting out. He's playing. Nowadays, players, in my estimation, I can be totally wrong, is that they, for a little bit of an injury, they're looking to sit out. That's just my own opinion. But, imagine you're a baseball fan, you go to Yankee Stadium, you want to see Aaron Judge play. Well, but Aaron Judge has a sprained finger or an ankle or whatever. He's sitting out. He's getting paid. The Yankees are not losing any money other than, they're still filling. People come there to see Aaron Judge and they find out, he's been scratched from the lineup. It takes a lot of people off. And I think that the Yankees need to pay more attention to what their fans saying, what their fan base is doing, than just, I'm the general manager or I'm the owner and this is what I'm doing. Yeah, you have that right. But your fan base, are you just going to throw it all away because you want to be right? I believe that the fans control a lot more than they think. What's going to happen, and my group, I see this more often, is people saying, well, the Yankees haven't signed anybody yet. I had season tickets for 46 years, and people getting ticked off.
And just getting into that for a little bit, are you surprised that, I don't think it's going to last long, that baseball is in this lockdown mode right now, just after?
Everybody saw it coming. And whether they just, blew it off and will deal with it if it happens. The thing is, who's going to blink first? The players or the owners. What the players don't understand is the owners have all the responsibility. It falls back on them. If their business goes south, it falls back on them. On the other hand, baseball players are making outrageous salaries, and they wouldn't be able to make this kind of money anyplace else.
Yeah, I just don't see it going too long again, because after last year with the whole COVID stuff, and you still have a lot of people out of work now, they have millionaires and billionaires fighting each other. They're going to get no sympathy from the people. So I agree. Right. I think at some point they're going to get together. Now, obviously, just before the lockdown happened, we saw a number of big signings, a lot in Queens, but really nothing from the Yankees yet. So I meant, should Yankee fans be positive towards 2022? Or
you got to be positive. You really have to be. I mean, you can state your mind, but if you do it in a respectful way, we don't have a problem with that. Don't get up there and say Cashman needs to be fired and Boone needs to be fired. I see the word fired. I just delete it. I don't believe in trading to get an older player, a veteran player, or free agency paying. Long-term contracts have been proven not to really work out, most of them. And so you're going to lock a guy up. What they lock Harper up for, 13 years?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
What is he going to be like in 5 years from now? Heck with 13. So these owners, and see, they started it. Once they opened up their pocketbook, some of them, then if I was a player, I'd be foolish not to take the money. So again, it's tough. It's really tough out there.
And I think what you're going to see now is a lot more what you saw with the Scherzer contract, where it's going to be a lot of money, but for less years, or what we saw with Trevor Bauer last year, even though he's in trouble now. 1 year, but for a ridiculous amount of money.
He's a nut job.
Oh, yeah.
He had it made.
But this is in terms of the contract. I think after this, you're not going to see, I don't think you're going to see too many of these 10 or 12-year deals, just because I think owners rather pay you a lot of money, but in a short amount of years versus being stuck with you for like the next decade.
You hear the Yankee talk about the luxury tax. Well, for the richest baseball team in baseball. And for them to go over the luxury tax, it's, basically the Yankees have an open checkbook if they want to go after somebody. I think that, I know what I was going to say before, is that I would like to see the Yankees bring up the young guys that are in the minors, that are just one half step away from the pros, and put everything toward developing those guys rather than just picking up a veteran who, if he's not going to get injured, you're lucky. What happened with Kluber?
No, I agree with you. That's why I don't think, that they were going to go after one of these big shortstops. I mean, I think they will sign Rizzo, because I think they really need a first baseman. I don't trust Luke Voit in terms of just staying healthy for a whole year. And I like Rizzo, left-handed bat for Yankee Stadium. But again, I don't think they're going to go after Correa, especially now you're hearing that he might be hurt.
Forget Correa, and now he's talking about there's a possible injury with him.
Yeah.
So, but and when he came out with that nasty thing about Jeter, that didn't make him look any better.
Yeah, and not even that, it's like you're trying to get a job with the Yankees possibly. Why are you just, bad-mouthing probably one of the greatest of the Yankees? Again, it doesn't make sense. And again, I don't want him anyway.
Yeah, just look at his stats. I mean, Jeter's stats. I mean, Hall of Fame and Gold Gloves, and it goes on and on. Correa can only hope that he can give half as much as Jeter, which I don't think it'll happen. And you know what? New York. Their fans are not, you don't produce in New York, forget it. You're going to wish that you never were there.
Exactly. Now, for Garrett Cole, obviously last year was kind of interesting because all the story came out about the spite attack, and then after that you saw him struggle a little bit. Obviously wasn't good in that final game at Fenway, which wasn't totally his fault. But, I mean, do you think this grip stuff that whatever supposedly he's using is going to be an issue, that if he can't have it, he's not going to be the guy we thought they gave $300 million to?
I don't know, because now you heard come out last week that they were using 2 different types of baseballs. Okay, so who determines that? I don't know if it's the umpires or whatever, but, if they want a ball to fly out of the stadium, does they use one ball versus using the other one? If was Cole using a lot of this stuff with the Astros? I think that he was. But then there's also what came out that reason why he wasn't pitching good toward the end is because he had an injury. Now, the Yankees hold back an awful lot of what they let known to the baseball world. And whether Cole had an injury or that's an excuse, whatever, we'll never know. And to me, if a player has an injury and he doesn't let the team know about it, he should be fined. I just, they're investing in you, and now you're coming up with this, and you never told us about it.
I think Andrew was part of it. You remember that Toronto game? I think it was like late in the year. He had to pull himself out, and they thought possibly that he was going to go on the IL. He didn't, but I think part of it too that he did tweak that hamstring. I think it was in September, and that's probably part of the reason why he didn't. He struggled down the stretch.
If he was actually injured, okay, that's a valid point. Again, sitting here now, I don't know what the real story is. They're saying the Yankees need pitching and pitching. Wait a second. We're going to get a lot of these guys back that were on the injured list. We have a solid starting rotation if they stay healthy. Monty's going to be a stud. He's really progressed. Okay, you have Severino coming back, Herman coming back, and then you got young guys down on the farm. So I'd rather see us, put our attention to the young guys. I mean, how do these other clubs do it? They play in the young guy, and the guys are producing.
And two more question marks for the Yankees now is, will we ever see Gleyber Torres and Gary Sanchez be what they were maybe 2-3 seasons ago? Because it seems like the last 2 seasons have really been bad for them. They haven't been what we, when they first came up, they were gangbusters, and they seem to slide down. Can they recapture that coming into 2022?
I think Torres can recapture it. I think if you play him at second base, okay, he's going to do well for you. And if he's not concentrating too much on his defense, then that will help his offense because he has one less thing on his mind. We know the guy can play ball. Is he the greatest defender? Not necessarily, but he's better playing second than playing short. Sanchez, I don't know. I mean, if Billy Martin was there, you see him light a fire under Sanchez. I don't know what it takes, to get this guy to hustle. I mean, when I see a ball player hit a ball and he just trots down to first base, I mean, I don't want to see that. I've seen too many plays where the play gets botched and the guy would have been on first base. I think that what they did with Frazier, I was always a Clint Frazier fan. He had a lot of potential, but that was potential. Whether they screwed him over or not with his vertigo, which I don't really think he had vertigo. I think it's something else which they haven't put their finger on. The one that really upset me more than anything was Tyler Wade. This guy, the versatility he gives you, the speed, when he gets on base, he totally disrupts the defense. They don't know if he's going to steal, if he's going to get a big enough lead. I mean, I've seen many times where he's on first, he steals second base, and here comes a single, and he scores with his speed. So I don't think that they're going to be able to replace Tyler Wade so easily.
I agree. And he provided that scrappiness that, really the other players don't have. I mean, he led the team in stolen bases, and it was kind of part of that resurgence, at least for the second half of the season, August, September, kind of got the Yankees back in the wild card contention.
And his hitting has gotten better over the year. He gets, look at him. He could be up at the plate and put down a bunt. Now, unless you make a perfect play, you're not going to get him. The bunt causes more problems on the defense than anything else. And they just took a major clog. What are we going to get out of DJ? And if you play Torres at second base, what do you do with DJ?
Yeah, I think they're going to put DJ, and again, hopefully, I think last year was an anomaly for him because I think obviously he was probably battling that hernia most of the year, probably, trying to keep it under wraps as well as the hip injury. I think he'll be much better next year. And I guess you put DJ at third.
Gio, what do you do with Gio?
I guess put Gio at shortstop if you're going to do that. And maybe that means you're not going to bring in some kind of an outside shortstop and just kind of go to war with the guys you have already.
I don't have a problem with Gio playing short. but the strongest is to put. I mean, DJ doesn't move the way he used to move. That's just natural because he gets older. But how do you got to have a Gio either at third and, like you said, shortstop. I don't know. I just hope that because Cashman holds everything close to the vest, and he doesn't let a lot of things out. And a lot of stuff they let out is only what they want the public to see and not what's really going on. So you look at all the different articles that are coming out. This is a target for the Yankees to go after. And you can go crazy with that. I only want to see the bottom line. And the Yankees got to pull something off. And I don't know. First of all, you have Volpe in the minors, which he's tearing it up. Okay. Hicks is not going to make it in center field. Playing down in Dominican Republic, he's having a very, very rough. Sanchez, we can't afford to lose games or give the other team runs because an error, a pass ball, and pitchers want to throw a catcher that they can rely on. And that's why Cole had decided with Higgy. So I think that we have enough talent to bring people up, and I think we'll be better for it.
I agree, and I think they're waiting for Volpe. Maybe probably 2023 we see him. And let's just really quick as we close out, Cashman. You think Cashman is a do or die for him this year?
You know what? I don't know. Maybe he knows something about Hal that Hal's just worried that if he fires him or whatever. I don't know. I mean, I like baseball, period. And I don't care. I mean, I want to watch my Yankees, but, it's just so much you can learn. It's just like when I used to do an awful lot of coaching, starting at the young ages, if guys were sitting on the bench, I taught them how to keep score. Why? Because when you teach a kid to keep score, he's involved in the game. Being involved in the game, it's a great way to learn it. And, I think that's a lot of things. There's coaches that I get on my Facebook that, like, for instance, do you know Eric Holtz?
Yeah.
Okay. He comes up with just classic things that parents can learn and coaches can learn. There's a lot of good people out there that after a while who you can trust and who's just on Facebook blowing smoke.
All right. Well, I appreciate your time. Again, your group is called Yankees Positive Nation. Check it out on Facebook. Sir. Positive Yankee stuff. Ira, enjoy talking to you, and best of luck. And hopefully, again, maybe finally we get that championship in 2022.
Well, it's something to look forward to.